Good evening, ladies and gentlemen from Hollywood Balls. My favourite night of the week to be with my TFA family. It's the greatest double act since Cannon and Ball, Saint and Greavesy, you name them. It's me and TFA George. And, well, we've got the wonderful Naki Kaddu back with us. I'm going to come to you because I know you've got so much news. But, George, good evening. How are you, mate?
Yeah, wonderful. Great to be back again for our favourite Friday evening slot.
Comes around quickly.
Yes, back, I must say. A lot to catch up on, I hope, right, Naki?
Lots to catch up on.
I hope so.
I'm going to dive straight in. So the first thing I want to ask, Naki, is tell us, for our football family and friends, there's a great story. You WhatsApped me this morning. We were talking about what we were going to be chatting about tonight. Wes Morgan, Premier League winner, huge legend at Leicester City. Tell us a little bit about Wes Morgan, because this is great.
Yeah, so for the family, those who know or don't know, I'm working on Dida Sports Organisation, which is a non-profit in Uganda. And we also received, whilst I was in Uganda, when I last spoke to you guys, Koi Sports, CIC, sponsored us. So they're our leading sponsor at the moment to open up our office. But part of that is because they also know Mr. Morgan. He agreed to sign a jersey for us to hang up in our new office.
Wow.
In Uganda. I was just like,
what a legend.
So then when the kids are going to get it, so hopefully the idea is that it inspires the kids, you know, to get that jersey in the office. But yeah, next step will be getting them over there. And
for those guys, Naki, that weren't with us originally when you were first on, again, I love looking at the website because of what you do. And for people that know or don't know about Dida, it's develop, inspire, discipline, achieve. Got it right?
Yeah. Well done.
And it's so powerful, the message. For what you're doing. So again, just for a little recap, because I know a lot of the family will have seen you originally. And I knew when I put out you were coming back on the show, people were like, "Oh, great!" But for the new people that are joining us, just give us a little bit of background to it.
So Dida Sports Organisation, community interest company. We're based between the UK and Uganda. Primarily, our objectives are to use sport as an educational tool, grassroots development. And we work with marginal communities and a rural community in eastern Uganda at the moment. We work with schools, and our sport disciplines are football, chess, and boxing.
Yeah.
And we have a community of chess kids, around 250. We're in our third year now, so it was whilst I was in Uganda. It's huge, actually. We didn't really capacity build very well at the beginning. Well, we actually had 800 so we know as part of those 250, what we're now going to do, having the office and having the opportunity to have the office, is we're now literally going to register parents, kids, all the schools that want to basically connect with Dida, and then work out which sports that they all want to have access to. So you have a base number.
How many chess players do you have now? 250, did you say?
250 across 5 schools. And I would say since 2019, we launched chess. We work with Som Chess Academy, who's another academy that work in the slums in Kampala. Robert Katende, people will know him from the Queen of Katwe movie. So that's about his story. He also was a footballer, had an injury, couldn't play football, but also has a love for chess. And his success story is Fiona Mutesi, who is a chess master. She's now studying. She's actually graduated from Boston University. So we work together, really. I met him when I was in Uganda, and I saw his community center. He's also working with local communities. He provides water, etc., etc.
Right.
So the difference between our organizations is we work directly within the school. So the intention Dida is trying to create is put chess in the schools. So we facilitate rather than, we'd rather facilitate the impact and the development rather than tell them what to do. Do you know what I mean?
And you mentioned Fiona. You mentioned Fiona. I'm sorry, Pete. Go. Fiona. Fiona. She's in Boston University. She's graduated, so she's seen as a role model, as a hero, right?
Heroine, hero, yeah. But I get the thing. What I've noticed with Uganda, and I don't know if I can generalize this. We don't market ourselves enough. I think this could go across the board for many people. Is not everyone is aware of Fiona in Uganda. They really aren't, and they're not aware of how big chess a game is. It's an Olympic sport. I don't think she's really marketed, nor is the game, or as a sport. It's known amongst those that know, but unless you see the movie or appreciate who she's actually Ugandan, even in Uganda, they won't know. So part of the training that we provided with the kids in 2019 is in their second month of introduction to chess, we played the movie in this huge hall and they were just transfixed. First of all, they never had a big TV like that before, or a big screen. And they just, and that then shows someone they can relate to because she's from Uganda. She's related.
So Naki, the size of the community of the 5 schools you have, 250 for chess, but the overall number is between 800 and 1,000. Is that correct?
Probably more. So at the moment, it would be over 1,000. Yes. If we were just looking at chess, we're reaching up to 900 for chess, but obviously we can't.
So if Pete doesn't mind this suggestion, I'd like to have an intro offline. Because Pete, you can see how we can help the community with TFA.
Absolutely, and
Uganda,
that's why
right?
Hollywood Balls is here. That's why we're all here.
God, I'm excited.
Fantastic. I can tell. I can see George's brain whirring.
Yeah.
No, and Hollywood Balls is here to facilitate that. That's what we like to do. Put people together like this. I've got to ask you though, Naki, just going back. You've got new office. What was that like? You got your new office open. You sent me the pictures. Yeah, I got the thumbs up from you. It must be fantastic, eh?
Yeah, I think that for us is a huge milestone. It solidifies our connection with the community. It does show the community that we're there to stay. We had a few hiccups in March actually, and some of the feedback we got. I think it was after I spoke to you, or I can't remember.
Yeah, just after, I think.
So the feedback we got is that we need to be on ground. We need to have a presence on ground. And so in those few weeks, by the end of April, Koi Sports, thankfully Koi Sports put their hand up and said, look, we'll sponsor your rent for a year to allow you. So I managed to open that office up with the team, which was it was awesome. We did a ceremony to open it up, and the kids were so happy that they knew we were there. And when are we going to? What's next? And so the idea is that we can communicate to the leaders of the community and put schedules up in the office and actually have volunteers come and help us organize ourselves to have that and having that office. So it was a really huge milestone for us.
It was huge for you. I've got to ask from a broadcasting background and PR. What sort of how did the media did they get involved? Did you was there people there to cement it? Was there great coverage for you? Fascinated to know because I've seen the building. The pictures you sent are amazing.
Oh, did I not send you the link? Oh, I feel bad now.
You did.
No, we got great coverage we got great coverage from local media guys in Mbale, who are they're the closest town to us. So there's Step FM, Felix from Step FM, Fab K from Time FM, and Step TV.
Brilliant.
So they all came on site and actually interviewed. We had the district chairman, who's now in office. He was sworn in May. He actually came along, cut the ribbon. And then we were also broadcast, and we had a couple of features in Uganda 256 football and Kawawa Sports. So again, for us, the features and the press that we got was just epic for us. It was really a bit overwhelming. Just kind of pushes you a bit more, doesn't it? When things like that happen, expectations go up. Yeah.
Well, as you gather more momentum, while it's more taxing for you personally, it's more exhilarating, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because you know you're doing the right thing when you get that sort of response. You know.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump into a few messages. Everyone's so great to see you back. Welcome back, Naki. The work you do is amazing. So many messages that just welcome back to the show, which is great. Sticking with football, I want to ask you a little bit about. There's a group summit coming up, which is a football group summit. Which is tell us about it, because you're going to be a major part of it, aren't you?
I would love to be there in person. The Tanzania Football Summit. I think it's the first of its sort. It's going to be in Tanzania end of July. It was supposed to be in April, but sadly they lost their president. So it was delayed due to that situation. The idea is that it's bringing football business together, creating opportunities to network. I was sent the agenda, so I've been on a discussion forum, because I probably can't go there in person, but it would be great if I could be there. But it's to talk. They're going to talk about esports, football as a business, networking. So I believe the delegates are coaches, agents, media houses, and local football federations. So the federation in Tanzania is, I think, championing it, sponsoring it. We've got Azam TV, who are the big sponsors. So for me, it's a good start. It shows that there's a big discussion going on in Eastern Africa about football as a business.
I think maybe lost Naki there.
Have we lost Naki?
I think we have. Amazing though. I mean, George, just I'm sure she'll come straight back in. But the esports, this it's something I've heard all week. People telling me about esports, and where the football world's going.
Yeah, it's a very big area. Firstly, Naki obviously made tremendous progress, right? You can see from the last time we spoke to her. But esports, I think, is very much the rage, and
it's huge in America, right? Massive.
Huge in Asia too, not just America. Huge in Asia too. There's some big money behind esports teams. You'd be surprised. When I say Asia, I'm including Singapore, Malaysia, and I think Hong Kong too, for example. So there's big money behind it. South Korea, it's big too, esports. So it's going to become a big thing. There's no doubt. Yeah, it's a big focus.
We got you back.
Yeah. What's that?
You just went to make a cup of tea, didn't you? Really? So amazing that the new office opening. And George was just saying, since we've seen you, you've literally done so much. It's what a journey.
Yeah, I think in Uganda that it's so productive when you're on ground. You know, me just being on ground really just makes a difference, because you can really get stuff done quite quickly. You know.
Yeah. And how long are you in UK for, Naki? When do you go back?
Oh, you know, there's that stubborn child called COVID that keeps causing us delays. I would like to go back before September or by autumn, ideally, because we'd like to be able to kickstart our football recruitment or registration process. We'd like to sort of embed that now. So we're just putting the proposal together. Yeah. And we need to get that over to the district official, because he's very keen to put DIDA on his manifest for his district. So he definitely wants to work closely with us to make sure that his district gets, the development that they really need.
Right. Okay.
I've got a major question for you. This woman, she's smiling because she knows I've got so many questions. Tell me, film project in Uganda. What?
Look at George's face. What?
Yeah, I'm writing notes here. I'm going to follow this up.
There's nothing that this woman can't do, Naki. We've become firm friends, and I'm very proud to say you're a friend of TFA. But just tell us, because this gobsmacked me. You are an amazing woman.
So, just to be clear, I'm not producing a film, George.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
You're sponsoring it?
She's starring in it and writing in it.
No, not at all. This is as far as it gets for screen time. I was approached actually when I was in Uganda by Vado Films. They are a film company. It's a film director who creates film for social change. And they actually were already in Uganda at the time. But they're in Lira in northern Uganda, and they're creating a docu-film about children of war rape. So basically they approached me to help them as a consultant. So this is the consulting part. And also because they own a non-profit called Grassroots Stories. And of course, with my experience with DIDA, they felt I could maybe add some value and support them. So the idea is to help them just generate some funding to complete the film. And their goal is to create some, what they're going to call trauma centres in regional parts of Uganda, but also perform and do screenings of, so basically the children there's 15 children that are going to tell their story through dance and performance.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really, really very deep. And every time I watch the 6-minute trailer, I actually get very emotional. So it's actually, for me, it's an amazing project to be part of. I feel privileged to be asked to help. But yeah, that's that. And the idea is that they'll do screenings in Uganda at the National Theatre and in the UK at some point. So he's an amazing guy.
I'm going to put you in touch with my sister, who does theatre for a living out in the Middle East, with many different West End actors and amazing, and she would love to hook up with you. She reminds me just of you. You know, two very powerful women who do what you do and do what you believe in. Absolutely amazing. I just did before you went off. I wanted to come back to wrap up our little DIDA stuff. Tell me about the eye healthcare initiative.
Yeah. So our partners in crime, Eye Health Africa, we engaged. I think I mentioned them. They came along at the Women's Football Cup in March,
right?
And they did some eye screening. So myself and 2 of the eye doctors in Uganda have been writing a proposal for a pilot program for the whole district. This is Eye Health Africa's ambition, is to create a comprehensive eye screening program for all schools in Budaka district. And DIDA will be part of that. So because we're already in the community, I've been working with the doctors to create that proposal, what that would look like. So I think it would be a 3-year pilot. It'd be huge. But yeah, and it's to give them free eye screening and hopefully free eye care and free eyeglasses is the intention. So DIDA's is a partner of that initiative, and we're just putting those proposals together.
George, I mean, how busy is this woman? I mean, it's literally, there's nothing that she doesn't do currently.
Well, but one thing is very clear about what Naki is doing. She's a gift from God, whichever God believes in or otherwise, to be politically correct, because you can see that Naki enjoys it.
Yeah.
Because she can see on the ground she's helping make a tremendous difference, right? It's very much like how we operate, right? But to do it on the ground in Uganda, it must be so rewarding, right? I mean, you feel 10 feet tall when you see the difference you make, right? And, you know, there's no better feeling in the world, right? I mean, you know, there's this myth that people say, oh, I've got to make money to be happy. That's bullshit. Sorry, am I allowed to say that online?
Yeah, you are. You just have. Say it again. Say it again.
It's the biggest high a human being can have is making a difference for somebody else. And when you make that not just for one person, but a whole community, nobody can reach that high, right? And that's what Naki is doing day in, day out. And it sounds like it's expanding, right? So, I love to follow up. We can help in a small way that can become a huge way. So, Naki, you're not going to get away from me. Pete, I know will introduce us on email, and we'll have a couple of discussions, and it could be very interesting. It's fantastic work. Fantastic work.
She's just an amazing woman, and part of our show, part of the family, which we're so appreciative of. She's back. I wanted to talk not about the we've moved on from the film project in Uganda and a bit of eye care. Tell us a little bit, because I was looking today. Funnily enough, you talk about Wes Morgan, right? And you mentioned Wes Morgan. What a guy for a big, massive guy, but he has a love. Bet you didn't know this. A love of jewelry. Again, Naki, something else that you're involved in. And I'm sure George, I can see George with a nice bracelet and
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your jewelry, because all joking aside, they're stunning pieces, and they're crafted literally. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, you sent me some of the stuff through, and from a guy who's from the north of England to come back and say, "Gosh, how amazing are these?" Just tell us a little bit about the history of that.
So, jewelry brand is Naki Kaddu London, and I've been making jewelry for a number of years, but I rebranded in 2015. So Naki Kaddu London was sort of the brainchild, and I rebranded. I studied with University of Arts London 2010, did silversmithing, manufacturing. So that just helped me create it as a business. Again, my passion there is I just enjoy creating and sharing, how I see the world, maybe through jewelry, whether that be architecture. I take a lot of influence from Greece, huge influence from Greece, and Greek mythology and nature. So my new collection called Earth Series is really trying to create awareness of the fragility of our Earth and endangered species. So I've chosen about 3 animals or members of this planet that are either about to be distinct, whether that be flora, the jade vine, which is almost extinct, it will be within the year or 2 years, the manta ray, and I just really want to create awareness. So the idea with this collection is I'm looking for a collaboration. I think I spoke to you I talked to a school in Kenya, didn't I, about it? Did I tell you that? So they came back. These was a group of 6-year-olds to 13-year-olds. And I said, okay, you come back with some names and some descriptions. And I was blown away what a group of, I think it's at year 8 or year 6, can't remember, came up with descriptions and names. And just the creativity behind these little people was just epic. I was just blown away. So I'm going to obviously use their support with that. But the jewelry and football, there's loads of opportunity. It's a market. There's a target. I do commission pieces. I've had, rings made. Gentlemen have always called me sometimes when they want a specific, jewel ring made or bracelet or pin. I'm into pins on men, with their suits. I think that's very smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking your Euro campaign, they could do a little Euro pin. I'm going to give things away if I say any more on here, but I just had an idea for that advert. Just give it away if I'm not careful.
Let's do it. I mean, it is. I mean, you talk, and if you think, George, about what Naki's saying, the football, the actual the pins on the managers that they wear.
Yeah. Yes.
Are amazing. So if we can get a Hollywood Balls stroke TFA Euros thing going, that there we go. Speaking of the Euros, we've got 5 minutes left to go. You must have some vested interest in this one. You've got heritage in Europe as well as Uganda. So are you going to be are you going to be watching the Euros with us?
Of course I am. I love the advert and your campaign. Again, somebody should be. I was when I saw your ad campaign with all the different languages, I thought I could go and buy one of those jerseys for Ireland, or But so if there is a jersey going, did you have one in Gaelic? Did you do one for Gaelic for Irish?
No. I'm literally texting our designer now.
Yeah, that's
yeah, absolutely. We've got Ryan. Ryan's a brilliant, great message. Ryan's a great guy. Can you make panda jewelry? Panda obviously is our logo for the TFA community. It's not a bad shout, that, Ryan. Probably have easier job making an Everton badge, I would imagine, or a new Everton manager for you. Okay, so listen, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot. Have you got a team that you think is going to win the Euros?
Oh,
I know it's a tough one.
It's a difficult one.
There's so many great ones.
I mean, the Dutch are pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah.
I have to look at the teams. I'd have to look at the teams, the formation. Obviously, I should say Ireland, but the Dutch are always up there, aren't they? I have to say. So
the Dutch are in improving form. Yeah. But there are so many countries to choose from. I mean, France are a lot of people's favourites. Belgium, the Italians haven't lost in 2 years, Pete. And nobody's talking about Italy. Nobody's talking about Italy.
Apart from you and I, because we said this on last week's show. We said no one's mentioned them, and everyone's talking about France. Everyone's talking about who's the favourites, who's doing this. What I do feel is that England. I watched a fantastic podcast with Micah Richards and Roy Keane, Irish legend. And it was so good. And Roy Keane just said, look, England have got the best players in the world, but do they have what it takes to get through there? Semi-finals for him, semi-finals for Micah Richards, who obviously wants England to win, as I do. And I think semi-finals for me would be, that's all I can see. I can't see England winning it.
Yeah,
can't see past semis.
I agree. I mean, I think this is a test. We touched on this before. I think this is a test for the manager, Gareth Southgate. But I think Italy, France, Belgium are really strong teams, and Portugal are very good at not losing too, right? And I think the winner is going to be amongst those four.
Funnily enough, I just want to be speaking of Portugal. I'll touch on Ronaldo. Something, Naki, that you will appreciate. I watched the documentary about Cristiano, and he gets a lot of bad press because in my opinion, he's the greatest footballer currently on the planet. But how much work he's done, it doesn't say where, but how much work he's done. He's built hospitals all over the world. His charitable work is absolutely phenomenal. And I just think that, having you on the show tonight and speaking of people in the same ilk, it's what you guys do. And all I just say is I take my hat off to you guys just to continue what you're doing and go on. Tell us before we leave what's next in Uganda. What's going to be happening?
What's next is we need to kickstart with COVID, they've gone into lockdown for 42 days, but we were aiming for autumn to kickstart the football program. We've been offered some space by the district, so we'll have a field that we can start practicing in. So we just need to start doing our registration and then whittle down to whatever capacity that we can manage for football. and then hopefully start working with the coaches. We want to create a coach network. We also had one of our coaches locally who works with the girls teams, sponsored again by Koi Sports Elite Champion Network, to go on his CAFD coaching course. So again, just amazing support from Koi Sports for us. So it's brilliant.
George, as soon as I mention Ronaldo, the whole thing kicks off. CR7 always, CR7 legend, the GOAT. He is for me. I think that he's just an amazing player. I had a private argument with a friend who I put it up on my Facebook the other day that he is the GOAT. And it's official, by the way, in Euros, because no one scored more goals than him. So I don't think he can argue. I hope he has a great tournament.
Yes.
Obviously, I hope England do well. Obviously, but I'd love to see Ronaldo do well because he's such a special man.
And the thing with Ronaldo that does differentiate him from Messi is that Ronaldo has done it in 3 different European leagues.
Exactly, and international level.
And international level, of course.
Yeah,
so
I
find it's a tough call for me to say which one's better than the other. But Ronaldo has that achievement in his favour. Yeah, absolutely.
If you're looking at accolades, Ronaldo's up there, isn't it?
Yeah, totally for me. Your last Friday code pod 3 is out. It's PL. It's the same for Premier League. We're out of the house. We're going to be back tomorrow, though, with the launch of, literally the most, George is like a kid at Christmas Eve. It's going to be epic. We've got our first Euro show tomorrow, George. Rob Lee's on. We've got Miss Alex Haddo's back in the house. We've got a couple of surprises lined up for Super Kevin Campbell. It's going to be a great show.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
All that does is lead me to say a massive thank you to Naki, as always. It's been brilliant having you. Keep us informed with what's going on. You're going to be speaking to George probably straight after the show. I can see his brain's whirring. And just want to get you back on Hollywood Balls real soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Brilliant.
Great to have you, Naki. Thank you so much. And congratulations on the great progress. You must be very proud.
We're
very proud
of you so much.
I'll tell you that.
We all are. Yeah. Thank you.